will call a meeting to order. First up for general info, those attending for the planning board is myself, Jim Maximowski, Joe Zagrodnik, Bill Dwyer, Mark Dunn, and I don't see Kishore Parmar. I think he's on vacation or something. Anyways, this meeting is being recorded. And first up for general information, Mr. Dwyer.
First, we have a lot of people coming in for the public hearings, so I'm just going to start with the people who've been here the longest. We have someone just identified as James.
Right.
Okay, James, did you want to talk to the planning board about anything? Okay, next up, there's one of two people who sent in sign applications for the first time today. And they seem simple enough. The first one is Hannah.
Yes, my dad Gene is on here. He will be presenting.
Okay.
Hi, Gene Crowley. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to get home in time to join through my laptop, but I still in traffic. Anyway, we're requesting at Hadley Corner. Hadley Corner LLC is the owner of the property. I've been in front of you many a times in the past. Haven't been there in a while. Luckily, we haven't had any turnover. We're interested in getting approval for a restaurant use. It's called Bird Code, and they're a chicken quick serve restaurant. There's no drive-through. There'll be approximately 40 seats. Fits in nicely with the rest of the tenant mix that we have there.
So I'm assuming you're not going to be able to share your screen.
No, I'm sorry. Wasn't sure. Did I need to do that?
Well, yeah, I did get the email in today. And as you know, our policy is we like to get everything by the Friday before the Tuesday meeting. So I have a chance to share.
Yeah. Got it. I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't realize that, and this is the first time I've done it remotely, so apologize for that. So if it's something that we just need to come back and do another time, let me know. Or
I think it may be straightforward enough if who is this replacing?
GNC. Their lease was up and they chose not to stay, which would be between Vision Works and Starbucks.
Yeah, the owner probably has submitted. Did you submit it to the owner? He usually likes the first take at it, and he's usually pretty compliant.
That Gene is the owner.
Yes,
you
I am
the owner?
I am the owner. Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, usually you have your act together. You know how big they are.
Yes. The size of the sign is just under 40 square feet. And I think for all other practical purposes, I think they meet all of the regulations.
Yeah.
So it's a non-illuminated sign. I made sure that they did that. So I think we're on target.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the new signage as shown.
I'll second it.
Motion second. Any discussions or questions? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Dunn, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Zagrodnik, aye.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Salvini was next.
Mr. Salvini, you're up.
Oh, yeah, I put an application in last week and I did everything online. There's a sign, all we're doing is taking a insert out of a sign that used to be a Mitiera and putting a new one in. It's just a plastic sign that inserts into it. We're not building anything. We're not constructing anything at all. And I don't know if you have the photo of the one I sent to the website or not.
Yes, although again, we do appreciate it if you're able to show these things instead of my having to go fish for them.
How do I do that? I have the picture in front of me.
Now, I have it here,
Okay, sorry.
so. There are two pictures. Are they all both the same?
I think one was a picture of me, Tierra, the old one, and a new picture of what the new one will look like. So you can see it's the same.
Yeah, I just have one picture, but let me put it up.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
So,
And dine in.
Is that 48 or 46, Russell?
48.
48. Will there be one in a building too?
I think they're gonna put one on the building, too, but I haven't got that verified with them yet.
Okay.
we would need them to come back or need you to come back for that as well.
Okay. I can do that.
Do you want to wait and get both of them taken care of at the same time?
No, I'd rather get this one taken care of now and then, because I don't think they even decided on the building sign yet.
Okay.
So this is going to be a new restaurant.
Exactly. It's taking the place of Mi Tierra. I think it's like El Salvadorian or Spanish or something like that, or Mexican.
So I guess the problem here is we seem to be taking things out of sequence. We should perhaps talk to them about whether they're going to be making any changes to the property.
I know these people signed a lease with them. I checked with them 2 weeks ago. Posada Tavern, they signed a lease with the owner. I think it's a Chinese owner. I'm not sure who the person's name is, but they did sign a lease with them.
Yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is, will there be any changes to the building or the parking or anything like that?
I have no idea about.
We know that. We're not.
Right, right.
You're just a sign guy.
Yeah.
But they should be coming to us and requesting and letting us know what's going on. And then then you could be at the same meeting with them. So I guess I'm inclined to say, I don't want to put you on the spot. But we want to have the whole package, what's going on, as opposed to, well, the sign here, the sign on a building, the sign on a road, then maybe building changes. It's like, it's too,
Getting the cart before the horse.
if you would. So I guess I would request of you to tell the tavern people to come into a planning board meeting and let us know what they want to do.
Okay. I had already paid for the permit. So that's not null and void. That's
No. There's no null and void. It's
Okay.
just that you can't get it yet. That's all.
all right. So I have to let them know to get a hold of you guys to schedule a meeting, and I could be at the meeting
Yeah,
with them.
just come at the next planning board meeting, which will be in 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Please, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, the next name that was in, and I don't know if you're here to talk to the planning board or for one of the public hearings, was Ann Zelensky.
I'm just here to hear what's going on.
Okay. Next in was another sign I just got this afternoon from Hadleaf. there is a representative from Hadleaf here. Are you able to share your screen?
Hello, sir. My name is Anna, and I sent it from my personal email. I'm the general manager of the dispensary called Hadley. Took over recently, and we're just trying to better the dispensary. And one of the plans that we have is to get a new sign, as we're in very like during the summertime. It is very green, as you know, and it covers the majority of the building. So we want something that's gonna be visible. Let me share my screen and let me tell you exactly what our plan is. Um, are you able to see my screen?
We just see your Gmail file.
Yeah,
So right now, let me pull up all the photos that I have. So this is part of the building that
we're not seeing any images. We're seeing your list of emails.
pardon me, let me just
You might want to unshare, open the window you want, and then share again.
yes, give me a quick second. Let me just do it. Stop sharing and then let's do it again. Share. There you go. Okay, so this is the original sign that we have.
Not up yet. Here it comes.
Is it up?
Yes.
There
Yes.
we go. Okay.
So as you see, the sign is on the building and it is externally illuminated. But what happens is during summertime, basically everything over here is green, and people who are coming from this side, it's from Russell Street, are barely able to see this sign, which is already green or green and beige, is basically mixed colors with the rest of the background. What our plan is possibly if we can take it on the roof with 3D letters, more 3D letters than the flat ones, and externally illuminated. If obviously, so I know that the law is after, I don't remember, the girl didn't remember which year it was, but after a certain year, you guys stopped allowing internally illuminated signs. I just would like to see if there's any exceptions possible to that rule. If no, we can do externally illuminated. So basically erase it from here, magnify it, put it up top here. It's gonna look let me show you how we're planning to do that. Let me stop the sharing for a second so I can share the new screen. This is what we're planning to do. This is the same facade of the building.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be above the roof.
So we're not allowed to be above the roof.
Correct.
That's in our bylaws, our ordinances.
Got it. And no illumination either.
Correct.
Correct.
No, as I understand, there's no any exception or no extra fees that can be paid to do that, correct?
Do you want to explain that? They, you can go and apply for a variance, but you would have to show that there's a hardship, and we're not seeing a hardship.
Hardship, awesome. So we just took over the ownership as well. As I said, the hardship before, this place had a lot of debt, unfortunately. And one of the hardships is basically it's a big taxpayer, so it'll work out in kind of both ways if we're able to earn more customers that way. But thank you for the information of the hardship. I will try to get that done. But if not, on the building, more like bulky signs and bigger signs with external illumination should be fine to apply for, correct?
How large?
How large? So the building,
No, how large is the proposed sign?
so this the side of the building is 60 feet in length, and each letter is approximately 2 feet wide and 3.3 feet tall. So however many letters there are, plus a little bit of space between each of them, and that is the total that's going to take basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times 2.5 feet, say, or with the space between them. So
I think-
33 to 35 feet.
I think you need to draw a,
We would want to see a real dimension sign, not a guess like you just put forward.
right, you would need to draw the smallest rectangle that could enclose your sign. and then give us the dimensions of that rectangle.
Okay, awesome. So you would need all the measurements of each letter like this and the.
No, just draw
A
one line.
rectangle over the entire sign, with
Yeah,
the square footage described, how large is that rectangle?
right.
So-
Okay, awesome. And another side of the sign is gonna be, let me show you one more thing. The other side will include, so that was facing Russell Street that I just said. And we have one more over here side that we would like the work to be done on. And let me show you, which is facing the parking lot of the building. And, let me share the screen for you once again, and let me see if we can get anything done with that.
So just doing basic math on the first sign, that came out to 96 square feet, which is half again what's allowed. You're allowed 64 square feet on a freestanding business.
Right, so there's a limit on how many square feet you can have.
And if you
of
want,
signage.
you can have the 64 square feet divided among the sides, but you cannot have more than 64 square feet on the building.
Yes.
Okay, so and awesome. So the same rule will be applied to the other side. Understood.
Yeah, I think the previous owners opted to put the whole 64 on the front to get the maximum impact.
Also, it can only be one side.
No.
No.
You could have multiple signs, but the total of all the signs on the building cannot exceed 64 square feet.
So if you had, if you had them on two sides, they'd have to be smaller.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, now, I recently drove by there, and evidently you put some new outside lights on the building.
Yes,
Because when you drive down Route 9, those lights shine onto Route 9 at night. And that is contrary to the bylaw that you've got to keep your lighting contained to your parking lot.
okay, we'll fix that for sure. And we already tilted them down as per the request of some of the neighbors. If it's a problem, we'll for sure take care of that and tilt them in a way that we can remove a couple of lights off of each plate where it will be only shining to the line of the parking lot.
That's all we request, is just, if you could just, put whatever you need to do to keep the lighting basically contained to your property.
Awesome, thank you very much. And we will, I guess, be joining with the next proposal next Tuesday.
Okay, we're here first and third Tuesday. You can just send the file into the Hadley to the planning board like you did for this one, and we can take you up as a walk-in, not a problem.
Awesome, thank you very much. And you have a wonderful evening.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, I see that Gene Crowley has logged back in. But
Yes, I'm here. I made it home.
did you have anything more?
No, other than, I presume the affirmative was for the use as well as the sign.
I'll amend my motion to approve change of use because a restaurant is an allowed use and signs.
Thank you.
Maybe we should vote that.
What was the name of the
Bird
restaurant?
code.
Oh,
Bird Code.
Bird Code, right.
Okay, I'll remove that, make the motion to approve the change of use and the signs as shown.
Thank you.
It is a change of use.
Yes.
I will second that so that we can
It's different.
discuss.
It's because it's in the aquifer, just to cover the bases.
Oh,
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussions? Hearing none, roll call.
done. Aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Max Samaski, aye.
Zagradnik, aye.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
So without polling everybody individually, I believe that everyone else is here for one of the two public hearings tonight. Is there? Andrew Nessie.
Andrew Nessie is not.
I am not.
Okay.
I'm sorry to hijack it. Jim, I think Vern called you earlier today. I own the massage school in Hadley, and we had a fire recently, as you may know. We have a temporary space on which we have a 2-year lease down the street at 195 Russell.
The Tandem Bagel.
Yeah, next, it's right in the adjacent building, right? So in the building that's also part of that property. The suite is B2, and I understand it to be zoned for general business, and I believe our use based on down the street is general business. But the building department advised that I join tonight just to make sure we didn't run into any use issues as we pop up the space.
Yeah, the building inspector called me earlier and asked me if it would, if we could. I said, we got a meeting tonight. I said, just have the gentleman come in. I said, let us know what he wants to do, because he put into a dire situation with his prior building burning down. I said, we're going to be evidently temporary. I says, it's because it's right away. I says, come in and just let us know what you want to do so we can do the right thing.
Thank you. In terms of interior of the space, we're going to keep the space substantially the same as it is. We're likely to take it's currently one large unit. We're going to divide it into two, but we'll get building permits before we get to that point. But we'll be running our same business that we ran down the street, school and student clinic for massage.
Do you know what the address is there?
195 Russell, and it's unit
B2.
B2. Yeah.
Any exterior alterations?
No.
Any sign at this time?
Not right now. No, the landlord is working on signage, and he'll come back to you at some point in the future for all the tenants.
I'll make a motion to approve change of use.
Second,
Motion second. Any discussions? Hearing none. All in favor? Roll
Joe,
call.
aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Rodnick, aye.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent.
Thank you all. I appreciate letting me jump in.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else here for something other than a public hearing? Raise your hand or say something.
Turn your camera on. Something.
I guess not. Okay. The first one up is for WS Development. Yeah, well, for change of, the new Bank of America at the Mountain Farms Mall.
Look who popped out.
Mr. Reedy, you.
Just like that. Just like that. Good evening, folks. Tom Reedy, attorney with Bacon Wilson out of Amherst, here on behalf of the applicant for a new Bank of America, 359 Russell Street. We were here January 20th. We went away with a list of maybe 5 things to come back with. Last Friday, I sent to the board the list, which I'll go through in a moment, and then plans exhibiting kind of compliance with that list. So you asked us to place a single drive aisle stripe between on the westerly side of the building to create 2 lanes, which we did. We confirmed snow storage with the landlord, and we provided, I have an exhibit here. I'm not sure if I sent it to you, but I can always send it to you after the meeting. Pylon sign, we're going to match the existing height. We're not looking for approval of the new pylon sign tonight. We'll be back with a sign, but I think just as long as it's, authorized to exist in the same location, not exceeding the height, I think that's fine. Ensure the ATM is not internally illuminated, which we have confirmed. And then finally, fire truck circulation. And Victor sent over his plan to the fire chief, showing that their largest, newest truck can circulate around the site. So I will share my screen just to walk you through a couple of those things. So to reorient everyone, north is up here on the page. This is the proposed bank with that drive up ATM, we added right here that dividing line. The previous iteration of the plan didn't have that dividing line. So that was that one. I'll show you the approximate snow storage areas. So again, if you can see the screen, the building is over in the lower left corner. You can see the LL Bean, 110 Grill, Five Guys. And then the areas shaded in red are the approximate locations of snow storage. So really tucked away. And so there would be nothing, as you might expect, in this area for sight lines. And this is really just kind of a pinch point of the site. So a little bit here, but the majority is at the end of these long runs and then tucked around the back of the site. Probably fire truck circulation would be the next one. See if I can, okay. For seeing this, we've got, it's through auto turn. I'll just scroll up a little bit. You can see fire truck circulating around the site without issue and then coming out back onto the public way. So this is something that Victor had sent along to Mike earlier. I want to say middle of last week. And then
Is that including looks like you even got the 180, if you came in and tried to go immediately back to the east, looks like you even got that swing to work.
yeah,
Okay.
Where are the tanks? Are those penciled in right there, Peter? Tom?
yeah, I think this is where in these, I think this is an all electric building, but these tanks, I think as Mike had said last time, I think there's 2 buried propane tanks here and those service the 110 Grill and then Five Guys.
Okay.
But I don't think there's any expectation. Last time we did talk about gas, if there's existing gas, and then obviously maintaining that service if it's still in effect, and then to the extent that it was in effect before is usually how the gas company
Yeah.
requires it.
So it looks like you can make the hairpin turn. Thanks.
Yes, correct. And then finally, I will show you this one. So here is that drive-through ATM where, there's a light on the screen, downcast light above, but these are not illuminated. It is the casting of the light from here, from the top.
And that is screened from going off site.
Yes, it's downcast. I mean,
Okay.
the point is to illuminate that ATM.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, we're happy to answer any questions you have or go into more detail, but I think somewhat simply, we did a lot of the heavy lifting last time and just had these few pieces of homework to address.
But by way of information, Tom, Texas Roadhouse has buried propane tanks. It's the only Texas Roadhouse in the nation that doesn't have a gas line hookup.
No
It's
kidding.
Yeah, so why? I don't know.
It's another conversation, Joe, for another day, I think.
I know, okay, but no, yeah, because I saw them working in that area and evidently they wanted to make sure where they were for the fire information.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So is what you sent over the most recent iteration of all of the plans?
Yes, on Friday, that link had the latest iteration. I don't think we have the snow storage, but I can send that to you if you want, Bill.
Okay. Can you give me the date, the revision date of those plans,
Of the plans, yes.
of the plan set?
2/12/26.
Just wondered, could you just put the snow storage up again?
Sure.
This is not a Bank of America issue, but Kayla, is that snow storage allowed that close to the waterway?
You mean towards the south side?
Yeah,
Well, the snow storage would have been approved with the original permit. I don't have that on hand, but Tom, do you know if this is a change from the original snow storage at the Mountain Farms Mall?
I don't know.
I mean, it's worth checking, but
Probably not.
that seems to be where the snow has been stored regardless.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm thinking from seeing those piles, this looks about right.
yeah, I guess so. I don't know if we would have to do an awful lot of digging to find the original approvals for Mountain Farms Mall, and I'm sure the wetlands regulations were vastly different at the time. So,
And I think the only other thing, Bill, is it looks like it's all stored on a surface. And so oftentimes the melt will go into the stormwater system as opposed to it being pushed onto like the grass where then it goes into the groundwater and then, so at least if it's stored on the,
I just don't remember having seen that previously, but as it affects the Bank of America site, it's not an issue.
Yeah, is there a curb at the north edge of that perimeter drive there?
I don't know the answer to that.
Remembering that north is down on this plan.
Right.
There is a curb along the frontage of the LL Bean, and is that what you're talking about?
No, I think more over here, Victor.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so there's
Okay.
wetlands in this. You can see kind of where that waterway, I don't know if it's perennial stream or what it is, but I think they're worried about it just topping over and coming into this area with salt or sand or silt,
Understood.
right? All that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not an issue for the Bank of America.
It's not going to be
it's-
gentle.
I hadn't seen, I don't recall having seen this image before, so it just rang a little bell.
I saw it and I was surprised at how small the locations are, and I almost made a joke about, are you trucking it over to Target? But
It's very tall. These are very tall.
that's true. That's
Small
true.
footprint, Mark.
That's true.
Any other questions or comments? Nice job on addressing the questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the application for site plan approval and to approve the application for business use in the aquifer and access across other than frontage upon the following conditions and approvals. Project is within the general purpose and intent of the bylaws. Not detrimental to the established or future nature of the neighborhood. The uses are expressly permitted by the terms of the bylaw. Planning board determines that work conducted in accordance with the plan set as revised. As revised 2/12/26. I don't recall that you specifically asked for any waivers.
I don't think we did.
Copies have been distributed as required. Planning board faces the following conditions for site plan approval: the design features, drainage, exterior colors, roof lines, doors, and windows are considered to be an integral part of the approved design. Approval is for the following use only: Bank of America Bank Branch. Sign detail, we'll call that pending. Well, actually, pylon sign is pending. You're asking for approval of the signs on the building.
Correct.
So holding signs as shown. Pylon sign to be determined. Landscaping installed, maintained, and replaced per the above referenced plans. Any outdoor lighting should be shielded so it does not produce strong direct light beyond property boundaries. No storage trailers, shipping containers, temporary or permanent storage structures, or any other storage facility not shown on the approved site plans are allowed. This approval does not excuse the project from compliance with other provisions of the Hadley zoning bylaw, including the Conservation Commission, Building Commissioner, Public Safety, DPW, Board of Health, and state agencies with jurisdiction. Any project changes directed by other boards must be approved by the Planning Board. Let's see.
You sound very official when you read that, Bill.
The project, I'm trying to, that's why we're going to try to keep this simpler in the future so I won't have to read it at length. We're going to be adopting standard conditions, which will be everything that I have to read. Project will be reviewed for compliance by an independent consultant on behalf of the Planning Board at the sole cost and expense of the applicant. You'll remain, let's see, required front yard setback. Yeah, it's not going to apply. And topsoil is not going to be an issue. Site plan shall not become effective until the notice of decision is let's see, until notice of decision is affixed to the original site plan. The applicant's site professional certifies the conditions set forth herein are noted and incorporated into the site plan. The original is signed by the Planning Board Chair or Clerk, and copies of the signed original are filed with the Planning Board and the Building Inspector. We also approved the following special permits. A business in the Aquifer Protection District. This is granted to Bank of America, a proposed tenant of WS Development, to operate in the Aquifer District. Plan shows adequate drainage, provisions to control soil erosion, soil compaction, provisions to prevent seepage from sewer pipes. There will be no process chemicals on site. For retail sale. Because it is in the Aquifer Protection District, approval is specific to each tenant. This approval is as to Bank of America only. Further review may be required for a change of use. And we do approve access across other than frontage on the basis that shared access is preferred at this busy site. And the shared access will be the only access to the site. That's it.
That's one massive motion.
Yeah. I would second it.
Okay. Any other discussions or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Dunn, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Zagrodnik, aye.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Very good. Good luck,
Thanks a lot,
gentlemen.
guys. Appreciate it. Have a good
Thank you
night.
very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Next up, we have the continuation of Pioneer Valley Hotel Group at 41 Russell Street for a senior housing project. Mr. Chamberlain.
Hello. So when last we were here, there was a fairly lengthy discussion on architecture of the building, as well as 4 comments from Ann and David of Riverbend, one of the abutters. I guess, which would you like to go to first? Because they're very different subjects.
Leave the comments about from Riverbend separate. So just to address the first ones that we had at our last meeting.
Sorry,
do the ones we had from our last meeting first.
The architecture.
The architecture and stuff.
All right, perfect. Let me bring up the plans and turn it over to Dan.
I'm having some audio issues, so. Give me 1 sec. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I've got my phone for audio and my computer for video for some reason. So the primary suggestions, comments from the board last time were adding some awnings at the entrances, which we have done. You can see here in this rendering. And then we have a large awning at the entrance, and then at the main entrance, and then covered awning areas at each of the other egress entrances. And then there was another suggestion to pull the windows back from the corner. And so we've moved them about a foot off the corner to diminish that kind of exaggerated corner detail that was shown before. Most obvious in the rendering. Before they were really on the corner. Now they're about a foot and a half off. So I think those were the 2 main comments. Correct me if I'm wrong. Other than that, everything, to my understanding, had been previously approved or implicitly approved.
Was there a question on the color Mark, that you had?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't remember that.
No.
I think I had raised the question about whether this was going to be the palette.
Yes.
And the answer was yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Now, you expected that when the building is built, this is the color that it will look like, is I think the key point in the comment.
Yes. We would want to, it's your call what within broad limits consistent with the Village Center Overlay District. The colors are supposed to be historically consistent. If you wanted to choose something else, that's your call, but we don't want to see it without hearing about it first.
Don't want to be surprised.
Absolutely.
And it looks like
We want to
you,
grant forgiveness. In other words.
yeah. And it looks like
we want to give permission as opposed to forgiveness deal. Okay, thank you.
And it looks like you have 3 awnings, the one major one and then the 2 accessory, one to the
Correct.
south and one to the northwest. Okay. Looks good.
We'll keep the elements off of people most of the time. Very good. That was it for the architectural stuff. Any other thing? Next one is the comments from the vet hospital next door.
Great. Let me jump back to the site plan. First, I'm going to show the existing site plan because the first comment had to do with drainage in this portion of the site here. And after having looked into this a little bit, I think Anne is right on in her assessment. I'm not familiar with any of the history here because this was all changed before my time in the valley. But there is a portion of the pavement of this driveway that collects in this corner of the site and runs to what does appear to have been a swale that was run along the property line. In the images from Street View, you can see it a little bit more clearly that there's a berm between our site and theirs. And understand that and suggests that maybe that has filled in over time. That wouldn't surprise me at all, although I can't say that for certain that it's true. But regardless, the key point for us is, and I went back and sort of revisited our drainage plan to make sure that I was describing this accurately, but all of our pavement area in this portion of the site is collected in catch basins, primarily this one here, which is piped internally to our drainage system. The roof water is all directed to roof drainage that we've shared on the plan schematically. I've got a few connections here, here, and here, and have drain pipes running along both this side of the building and along the back side of the building here, meaning that there are plenty of opportunities to ensure that we're tying in all of the downspouts, regardless of their location. And in addition to that, in sort of this space between the building and their property, we do have proposed yard drainage. And given the layout of this, that there would be easy adds in the future because we'd have drainage access available. And so what this comes down to is that the current low area, which I highlighted, which is located here, once this site is built out, this area really only receives water, rain that falls directly on the grass between the parking lot and the road. The entirety of our pavement and all of our roof water is directed through piping to the very far end of the site to the south. And in addition to that, not necessarily for drainage reasons, but in order to make up our compensatory storage because we're in a flood zone, we are actually digging out a little bit of earth in this portion of the site. We're lowering the low point and sort of expanding the extent of that swale that's already there. So that was not intentional to clean up anything that may be existing in this portion of the site, but it does so happen that our plans require us to actually expand that area there. So having no familiarity with what's going on in the interior of that site and not necessarily knowing all of the history here and dealing with natural elements, I would never deign to make any guarantees as to how this is going to function. But based on all of that, I'd be surprised if this doesn't create a very significant improvement in conditions there because we're taking a lot of pavement that is currently draining to that area and shipping it to other ends of the site and getting it away from that location. Comment number 2 related to the privacy fence that we are proposing along this line here, and sort of highlighting the reality that, as you can see, this light line here is the edge of pavement and curb for the parking lot on the Riverbend side. As you can see, essentially the edge of pavement, as Ann described, is right along the property line. The curb is sort of on one side or the other as we go along here. So the proposal right now, and I'm actually going to switch to a different plan that shows the existing trees. The proposed location of this is currently 2 feet off of that property line. So it's not right on the pavement. It gives 2 feet, the 2 to 3 feet is what we look for a door swing. So admittedly that may be, a few inches tighter than the ideal, but we do have a good 24 inches from the very, very edge of pavement to that fence line there. It may be possible to to push it a little bit further, but we do have a couple of trees existing on the site. Those are these dark circles here that we're hoping to preserve. In particular, this one right here would be really tight to that fence, so we may run into some trunk conflicts or potentially bending around them if we pull that a little bit further from the property line. So I think we'd like to keep it with the 2 feet clear, but are happy to engage in conversation as to whether that's enough.
Okay.
I would like
to make a comment on that one.
Yes.
The fence is on your property line and it's it's not right on a property line, it's actually in a little bit. And just so that the abutting veterinary hospital knows that the Bailey Hotel Group is under no obligation to move that fence further onto their property line to give the veterinary hospital more room on their property because it is already on their property. They're moving the fence really out of the goodness of their heart to accommodate the abutter, but there's no obligation to do that. So I just want the veterinary hospital people to realize that you can request what you want, but the hotel group is doing it really under no obligation to you.
Right, and that's kind of a best practice to leave.
Totally understand that.
Yeah,
Absolutely appreciate that.
Very nice.
to leave the 2 feet, you can get a push mower back there and maintain your property line. Yeah.
Great. And just to highlight my own stuff, we did have that 2 feet there. I'm sure it was totally unclear when the plans were looked at earlier. Comment number 3 involved the fence. And again, Anne was right on this. I'm going to chalk this up to an overeager landscape architect had drawn this fence all the way to the front line. We had no intention of doing that. Shardul slapped my wrist for having had that on the plan to begin with. So we pulled that back to what seems like a logical spot for this fence to end. This is sort of the first very large tree as you come into the property in this location right here. So there's sort of a visual tie to an element, and you know it provides good sort of separation from the main parking lot area from that site, but still gives it's a good 45 feet from the street where there's really no reason for us to want the fence there. So we've pulled that back and adjusted that on the plan. So that was a good change.
You know, when I saw that plan, I thought that that's not what they intended to do, because that wouldn't make sense to bring the fence out that far.
That's right. We have absolutely no reason for it.
With the auto pen.
Yep, exactly.
Chris, while you're talking about the fence, I don't remember. Was there any detailed drawing of what the fence would look like?
I am almost certain there is. I'll see if I can find that very quickly here.
That it?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
With sort of the alternating panels front and back, so it's not a solid wall, but stippled a little bit.
Right. So you can get some air movement and not. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. Great. And then comment number 4 was on landscaping. And so what I'll describe what we do have on the plan. So there are, the landscaping plan includes planting that is primarily focused on trees around the parking lot, and then some supportive foundation planting around the building, as well as in some of the islands throughout the site. We do have planting beds called out along the bottom of the building here, sort of between the walk and the building itself. Sort of more significantly in this area, there are 4 existing trees along that property line. The intention is to try to keep them, although as you can see, that is very unlikely to actually finish to come to fruition on this one tree right here. it's going to be very close to this sidewalk. I think we're going to do everything that we can, but just the reality of construction and layout is that this one all the way on the left probably will not make it. These other three, we're going to, again, try to retain those the best that we can and save those. So those would still, be large mature trees in that area. Aside from including additional trees in this location, sort of low-level landscaping really wouldn't be seen over the 6-foot privacy fence. And this being sort of a back of house area is not a place where we had proposed dedicated plantings. But again, if the board has comments on that, we're certainly open to it. And I will highlight that, over here where let's say there's a little bit more elbow room and currently a lack of trees on our site, we do have 4 or 5 new trees called for around this portion of the parking lot over here, which is both to, create shade on this paved area, fight against the heat island, and also sort of provide some buffering between Russell Street and the building. And, as we do with a site plan, this is the minimum that we're committed to doing, but obviously this is a residential property and the Parmars are looking to market it to people. And so we would expect that there's going to be some additional landscaping that goes in after the fact, but this is what we're committed to on the plan at least.
Thank you. Questions?
I just want to say thank you. It looks as if you've answered all our concerns, so I really appreciate it very much.
Good.
So
You can comment for anybody else. You can't see everybody here, so if anybody raises, if you have a question, to keep the plan up, I can only see a few people. So if you have raise your hand with the appropriate means of the Zoom meeting, and then you'll go to the top of the list. So if I don't see anybody, we'll just continue on.
So Chris, I did see, I made a note on the punch list, lighting.
Oh.
And that's all I said, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and I believe in the very first hearing, we were reviewing the plan and had called out that we needed the lighting designer to take a second pass at it, and they did, although I am not sure that I actually have in the plan set the very most recent version that Dan forwarded on to me. I am going to try to deftly step away and log into my computer at work, which I am not sitting in front of, and grab that very quickly to ensure that we sort of have that for the record. But we did get an improved lighting plan, which ensured that we detailed a little bit where lighting near the building is going to be, because light levels were a little bit low there, as well as ensuring that we were properly lighting the sidewalk that leads out to the street frontage, bus stop, and then further on. Must have missed that in my odds and ends as I was compiling everything into the final plan. And so if there are any other loose ends that would be good to discuss, I can probably do 2 things at once while I pull this up and bring it over.
That was the only point that I had written down that you didn't mention.
Okay.
Need a few minutes, Chris?
I need about 45 seconds, and I'm either going to determine that I have it or that I can't find it at the moment, and then I'll look to Dan potentially.
Well, while that's going on, should we talk about the affordability component?
Yeah, we were, we were planning on doing 7 of the units affordable. As far as their location, it would be a random location throughout they'd be spread out throughout the building. We really don't have a specific place where we would put them. I believe you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to predetermine them anyway. You're supposed to randomly kind of distribute them all over the building, and they're going to be exactly the same. So there's going to be no, in terms of the distinction, there's going to be no difference between a standard unit or an affordable unit. So, in the future, an affordable unit can become a standard unit and vice versa. But we maintain 7 units,
which is about 15%.
It's about 15%. The question about a deed restriction, I researched it, and I kind of was hoping to see if if the planning board had a template or something that they would like to see, because I found quite a few different things, as did my attorney, and we were kind of wondering, instead of providing you something, if you have something that you would like to see, would be open to adopting whatever you deem that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I apologize for not getting back to you. You had sent me an email and I got tied up in 3 other closings. So
no worries.
But let's work backwards from what we want to accomplish here. We want to have these units eligible to be listed on the State Register of Affordable Housing.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any particular format that we want to see. We want to satisfy the alphabet agency that is currently in charge of this stuff. So it's more a question of what they want to see to accept 7 units onto the inventory.
Right. And I kind of reached out to two or three different people, wayfinders, and even the Pioneer Valley Development.
PDC. Valley CDC.
Valley CDC. Yeah. And many of the deed restrictions that they have given me are more tied into state subsidies. So it wasn't really applicable to what we're doing, because we don't have any state subsidies in terms of what we're doing. And so again, we're kind of looking for guidance, as probably you are. And I don't know if there's a resource in the Hadley housing ecosystem that can go and help us with that document.
I would say not. I don't think the Hadley Housing Authority is interested on this level. And the other, I suppose, yes, you're right. Everything else is tied to state. Winfield, which has a split of market rate and affordable, is based on the whatever the state grants are for its financing.
Right.
Valley CDC is putting everything into affordability, so that's a simpler one.
Bill, do you remember what the
Sure I
number
do.
is?
Maybe you may want to contact Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and see if they have anything, because they're dealing in this topic with multiple communities that are doing similar items. See if they have any advice.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about them, but I will reach out to them.
They're at 15%, are we, or 14%? Are we? Do we satisfy? There's a trigger that when a complex has over a certain percentage that we get to count all the units.
That's going to be 20%.
20%.
Yeah,
and they're at 14.
yeah.
So
Which
20%.
is, yeah, which is what the inclusionary zoning bylaw calls for.
So then they would need 10 out of 50, right? Is it 50 units total?
Yes.
So then it sounds like we might need 10. Or am I misunderstanding that?
The inclusionary bylaw calls for 15%.
Oh, 15%.
The other is a state
Okay.
standard for how much is affordable. But we don't even have that incorporated in our bylaws, so.
In our bylaws, okay.
Okay, so
So that's the one thing I did struggle with, and I reached out to about a dozen different people, and it kind of hit a wall, because it seems like, as you said, Bill, that many of the people that are doing this are doing 100%. There's very few, or they have some type of state subsidy. What we're doing is kind of very unique, because I don't believe there's that many, or any that I could find, that are similar to our situation.
I mean, it's not like we have a ton of experience doing this either. You know,
you and I.
Yeah, this is fresh for all of us, for lack of a better term.
And that's why I kind of wanted to sit down,
yeah,
with somebody, Bill, somebody from the town, or the planning board, or the town, to sit down and say, how do we? I want to make sure, as a developer and also as a resident, we want to do this the right way. And I think that's got to be something that I'd like to get as much assistance from you guys and somebody from the state, to making sure that it's something that falls within their guidelines or their rules, so that it is counted.
So we may want to bring Tom Reedy into this conversation, and I don't think he is with us anymore, because he's representing Barry Roberts with the proposed development on North Maple Street, which will be a mix of some of the properties will be condos that will be sold at market rate, and the affordable units he indicated, might be kept as rental properties.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's, maybe I'll try to reach out to Tom tomorrow to see where he thinks he's going on that.
I could reach out to him, meaning we have a relationship, so I can do that.
Okay, Mark?
Would this not be a prime opportunity for us to look at using some of the Affordable Housing Trust to work out a deal to get them to 20%? Because that would benefit us if the state would then count all of their units on our affordable, it would give us more time. Do you follow? I mean, I know that we've struggled with, dollar values and how to do that, but this seems like a prime opportunity in my also lack of experience. This would be where you would want to spend, we're not going to build new units with that Affordable Housing Trust, but we could use it as an incentive with a developer to bump them up, if they're giving us the 15% that our ordinance requires, but we could.
That is the intention of the Affordable Trust Fund, realizing for what we have in there, you're never going to build an affordable complex, but it is mainly designed to be an incentive to push a developer to the next level, such as this.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. That is not a topic for discussion at a planning board meeting. That is something to be more confidential.
Okay.
But would you be willing to talk to the developers on that one, Mark? Because you're most familiar with, you're highly into the 40R, probably
Yeah,
better
yeah.
than most of us.
Sure.
Would you have that conversation with them and see if you could come to even some kind of a ballpark idea, either they're interested or not,
Yeah,
and then let us know.
okay.
And how to quantify what it takes to get to that point.
Yes.
Pull that out of the air.
Well, I'm sure that the Parmars would have an idea of what it would quantify to get to, 20% is probably going to be
Yeah.
another, well, they got,
Yeah, I think that our former honorable finance committee member might have some great formulas. He would come to the table and back up some scenarios.
okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do we do we know how long those are affordable? Is it in perpetuity? What is it?
In perpetuity.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we'd be open to having conversations.
Yeah. Okay.
talk is cheap.
Just to give you an idea, the market rents compared to the affordable rents, and this is at the 80% AMI, which is the average mean. You're talking about they're about 60%, 55 to 60% of what the market rates are, which isn't, but it adds up as you can imagine. And the cost is exactly the same because they're all exactly the same units. So.
Okay. That's all we can ask.
Yeah.
Good idea, Mark. That would be.
Idea.
Leave it at that. Okay.
So I can go back to sharing because I did have success. We did receive, what's going on here? Jumped around a little bit. So yes, we do have an updated lighting plan that we can share into the planning board. I'm sorry, my screen is behaving funny with Zoom. It's panning something very slowly. Just to highlight, so the pole lights that we have this sort of LED fixture downcast and adjustable. And then closer to the building, we're going to fill in some of those spaces with bollard lights. And then in addition to sort of building code required and architectural lighting on the building. Concern that we had was we were seeing really low lighting, especially in this area on that plan that I was sharing before. And so now with the bollard lights filling in sort of across the parking lot, they did a pretty nice job of keeping this pretty even in the 1 to 2 foot candle range across most of the parking lot area, a little bit brighter in closer to the building. There are a couple of hot spots that you see, but those are right under bollard lights. So those are not really eye level glare issues. It's just the sort of bright spot that you get under a bollard as that's casting the light out there. And then up in this area, again, some good lighting on this walkway here with some additional bollards to make sure that walkway out to the frontage is sufficient. And then, as I was describing, pretty even lighting across the site with the pole lights that we've got scattered throughout. So overall, I was much happier with the second attempt that they gave us.
Thank you. Can you zoom in on the entry where you're coming off the street?
Sure.
And does that take into account any DOT lighting or?
No, but I was, it surprised me, but there aren't any pole lights on the street anywhere near the site here. So, yeah, and so with this, there's a little bit of spill onto the street at this entrance to make sure that we're properly illuminated there. It's dropping down to close to 0 by the time you get in the middle of the travel lane over there, which I think is probably appropriate given the fact that there aren't any lights out there currently. But really out toward the edges, we're at 0s and 0.1s.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So I would like to, I don't usually like to split decisions or leave big pieces pending, but give me a sense of the timeline, assuming that we approve it tonight, write up a decision in the next week or so, and then there's a 20-day appeal period. So the earliest, functionally, April 1 is the earliest you could pull a building permit. What's your construction timeline on this?
More than likely, it's going to be either mid to late summer or early fall is when we would probably be starting construction. And we're probably looking at probably a solid 15 to 18 months construction. So reality is that from today, we're probably looking at probably 2 years from today is when more than likely it'll be open.
Okay. So that does give us plenty of time to figure out how we're going to what language we're going to get to satisfy the affordability requirement. So I think we could proceed. I'll structure a motion so that piece, that there'll be an agreement to provide the 15% required by the bylaw. And Shardul has already told us that they're going to be the same quality throughout. So if we can negotiate an alternative that will get us more affordable units, we have some time on that, and we can. So I think I would just word it for now that we just want to have affordable units that will qualify for the inventory and be a little fuzzy about how we're going to get there.
And you can come back with, you'll have plenty of time to get to the wording between the various legal entities you may have to discuss this with, Shardul, so that, rather than trying to push you, we don't want to delay your decision. It's basically what it comes down to, waiting for that kind of information, because there's adequate time to get to that point, and we don't want to hold you up in any way, shape, or form because of that. And I know you don't want to be held up either.
No, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. I think, again, we're pretty straightforward and genuine in our, I guess, in terms of our efforts in making sure this is done the proper way.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what the distribution is of the 50 units in terms of, there's a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom, right?
No, they're all 2 bedroom.
They're all
49 twos and one bedroom.
One bedroom. But
okay.
Even, yeah, we might revise the layout, maybe add another 2 bedroom. I'd like to keep it consistent so that, yeah, we're trying to do 50 units, try to do all 2 bedroom if possible.
And it's different, the senior housing is different than the affordable housing that Valley CDC is doing, where they're going to have a live-in manager on site. That's not the type of facility you've got. Yours is just a privately. Oh, did we discuss if they're rent or some are rentals and some are bought, or is it a mix? Or
no, these are going to be 12 months, 12 months multi-year leases.
Okay, leases. Okay, yep.
These are not month to month.
It sounded like Mark was saying summer, but I think he was saying some are.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was wondering if some are going to be available to purchase as condos, or if they are leases.
No, all leases.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all leases. We don't plan on selling anything.
Mark, didn't we go over that conversation with Mike Sosinski pretty thoroughly once upon a time?
Once upon a time.
That, if they're qualified for affordable housing, they don't have enough money
Yeah.
to buy the house. Okay.
And then while it's not staffed the way that Valley CDC is, the reality is they have a 24-hour staffed facility on the same property with people who know.
That's an SRO, single room occupancy for various disabilities.
Right.
In all of our units, they'll have 2 bathrooms. The master bathroom will be ADA compliant. All the bathrooms are ADA. All the master bathrooms are ADA compliant. So they'll be roll-in showers and
Nice.
and so that I think our goal is to make something that, and nobody should be able to kind of age out of it, in the sense that if they're debilitated for some reason, they can still occupy that space. The meeting house will be converted. We'll have some. We haven't done a floor plan yet, but we're going to have a fitness room, a community room, and then also storage units to rent it out, storage units for the residents as well.
Nice.
Mr.
A couple years ago, Shardul had us look to see if we could get pickleball in there, but it doesn't fit with the ceiling. So that's unfortunately up.
What were you saying, Jim?
I said, Mr. Dwyer, does he have his ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to approve your application for senior housing special permit under section 27 of the Hadley zoning bylaw. Findings: this is a senior housing development intended for purposes 55 or older. It will provide a variety of housing choices for persons of that age. Provide housing which reduces residents' burden of building and yard maintenance. Promotes flexibility in land use planning. Provides for a greater variety of uses and building types at a higher density than would normally be allowed. The senior housing development is in an appropriate location and does not significantly adversely impact the character of the neighborhood. Lot has adequate frontage on an approved town way. Public water and sewer are available at the frontage. These housing units constitute less than 5% of the existing single-family housing units, excluding other senior housing units. They comply with the building and dwelling unit requirements of the senior housing bylaw. Adequate parking is provided. The maintenance of roads, driveways, and parking spaces is the sole responsibility of the project applicant. These are not public ways. It'd be all rental, so we don't have to worry about a condominium. Adequate open space has been provided, not detrimental to the adjoining zoning districts and neighboring properties due to the effects of lighting, odor, smoke, noise, sewage, reference, or other visual nuisance. Not cause undue traffic congestion in the immediate area. Responds to the recommendations of town boards and agencies. The granting of the special permit would not result in unsuitable development of the land in question. So this will be, Chris, what is the latest revision date of your plan set, or do they each have an individual revision date?
The entire set I've dated for last Friday, February 12th.
What was the 13th?
Oh, sorry, Thursday. I sent it on Thursday. Anyway, it's dated as well.
Yeah.
Thursday, okay. So I don't think I think this is all in compliance with, I don't think there are any waivers requested, were there? Recalling any.
We had a couple of minor, I
Wasn't
know
there a
the
waiver about the height
the
because
light,
they
the height
had-
of the light poles for sure. I think I've got a list.
and I think the height of the roof because they